Now we're live.
Hi. Hello! Welcome back to Starlight Talks. I'm here with Ella London, Miss Sunshine.
Hello, Chloe. It's so great to be here again on Starlight Talks. I love the name of the show. I know I said that last time, but I really do. It makes me happy.
Yeah, and it's actually nighttime now.
It is. So we could see the stars, except it's extremely cloudy and rainy here in Southern California, which is a bit unusual. So, yeah.
So check out the website, OurTism.com. I have a blog where I write about living on the spectrum. We have so many cool programs available. We talked about Life Map last time. That's all on there. And then we have support group meeting tomorrow for the adults on the spectrum. So go register for that at OurTism.com.
OurTism.com, yes.
And then in the description, I have linked to some of Ella London's great stuff. So check out all of that after the video. And I have linked to the 10 Things I Hate About You reunion. No, just kidding. Tickets are selling out for that. So get them quick. And I have tickets for my Florida workshop. So if you're in Florida in April, go do that.
Awesome. And I'm just thrilled. I mean, last time I was here, we were talking about some of the things that you wanted to do with OurTism and some of the ways you wanted to kind of be a part of the, kind of teach and coach. So I've just been seeing so much of you online, and it's like I feel like every other post, which is a good thing, is something of you speaking. So tell me a bit more about what you've been doing with you've been speaking to at conferences.
Mm-hmm. So I have my workshops that are taking off, and I have a bunch of new projects in the works that I can't wait to tell you guys about. But so yeah, I'm planning on taking the what I wish my parents did differently to different places. Hopefully you guys, because I've had some requests for different places, so hopefully I'll be going to the places you guys have asked of me. I don't want to say where I'm going in case it doesn't work out. And I'm like,
what's a place in America that you want to go to? Let's see, just like that you would like to have happen.
I really want to do Boston because I do have family in Boston. That's a special place to me. So hopefully, I can do that. There is, and that. Thinking about doing that, so hopefully I get to do that.
It'd be so cool. Well, we'll put it out there now, so that will make it put some positive sunshine vibes over that. And I think, and for those of you who weren't on the last chat, the reason that Chloe and I connected is because she wears yellow as well, so you can see right there. And it's a special color to you. And I know we wanted to talk a bit more about color therapy and things today. So
yeah, my friend just gave me a book on the history of color.
Oh,
she meant to get it to me for my birthday. It was way back in October, but she lives in New York during the school year, so she couldn't get it to me. But so I went and visited her. She's like, "Oh my God, I have that book!" And it's so cool. It's on the history of color, and so it talks about when the color was invented for dyes and for paint and for like different reasons, and who wore it and what painters used it and why. And it's really interesting how it changed over the years. So like. I'm just at the beginning. I can't wait to get to yellow.
I know. I'm like,
and there's so many different.
You're so good.
And they have like all these little shades as well of each color. And so I was looking at white, and white was really interesting. It used to be a very high class color just because only the high class could wash their stuff.
Oh my God.
It would stay white.
That's so true. I didn't think about that.
Where now everyone can wash their clothes easily and it can stay white. Yeah. But that used to be like a very high class thing, and then color became very high class because you could dye things really bright colors, and that was more expensive to do. And the lower class would get more browns and grays, and so I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
It's like, you know, so we're pretty high class, is that what we're saying? We're high class with
so
our
it's
yellow.
just cool going through it and learning about all the different reasons color came into the world and what it represented.
That's so cool. I love that. And I'm just loving all these people that are joining us. We're getting all these kind of people. I'm like trying to like wave at everyone. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So we're also on.
Did I flip it? How did I flip it? How do I flip it back?
We're also on Ella London's Instagram. So if you happen to be on Instagram,
I keep flipping it back.
And then on the OurTism Facebook page. For those of you on Ella London's Instagram, I do a Facebook Live every Wednesday at this time, 7 Pacific Standard Time, for about an hour, and I talk about different things related to autism.
Yes, so. You were on it. It's so great. You got to be featured on the live. Sorry. It's awesome.
So, and for those of you who don't know Ella London, I met her through this. She had a viral video that went around
New York Post.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
Sometime last year, and it showed how she wears yellow every day, and I wear yellow every day, and so I was like, I knew she was going to get a ton of friend requests and messages, so I didn't even know if she would see mine, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna contact her, and so I messaged her and told her that I wear yellow every day, and we ended up talking and sharing our stories, and they were very similar, and so we connected, and she's been on my live stream before, and we just it's like we've got
the color coordination going on. It makes me happy, and I think for me it was really great meeting someone else who wears a color for a specific reason. You know, kind of your story behind why you wear yellow and the energy that it gives you. And then for me, you know, just because I think sometimes we. You know, it is a little, shall we say, weird just wearing one color. You know, I mean, not in a negative way, just in a way that it's not typical. And I think that kind of what makes it special, though, is I think that's what makes it a positive thing, because I love seeing people's reaction to it.
I know for being on the spectrum, it is a thing that those on the spectrum like to wear the same type of fabric, so they'll wear the same shirt in every single color, or just the same shirt. They'll get 10 of them and just wear, so it looks like they're wearing the same outfit all the time. And so I would talk to parents who are like, why can't I get my kids to wear different colors or different fabrics, or I'm like, well, why do they need to? And I'd talk about how I only wear yellow, and they'd be like, oh, I guess that's a rule that for some reason I'm putting out there that doesn't need to be there.
I love that.
So like, you should wear what makes you feel confident, whether it's like the exact same outfit every day, or one color, or whatever it is. And so, and I'm meeting more and more people who do stuff like what we do. Like I have friends who only like to wear vintage clothes, and I have you know, I did a speech. I go back and do a speech at my high school every year, and there was they called this guy his Red because he wore red all the time.
Oh, that's cool. So he was like nicknamed that. That's cool.
And so they really wanted to meet Red.
They were like, you must meet Red because you're yellow.
Yeah,
I love that. It's so cool.
And I get asked a lot. Like people just come up to me and ask me about my outfit, and they'll start noticing if they see me more than once. Like, oh, you must really like yellow, and like they need a reason why I do it, and then like, and besides, it just makes me happy. I don't have a reason. I can go into color therapy and go into all of that. It's like
but I think it is important though, because I think, like you mentioned last time, I think that because you tend to deal with low energy and dealing with that, and then looking at yellow kind of gives you some energy. And I found the same for me, because you know, from my journey of dealing with depression, And I just find this color so happy. And it was interesting though, since you mentioned you want to talk about color therapy. I was actually talking to I was interviewed by somebody who is like a psychologist in color, and she's from England. A really lovely lady. Her name's Karen Haller, and she did a thing and she told me, "Did you know that too much yellow can cause depression?" And I'm like, "What?" And
I've heard the opposite, that those with depression are attracted to
yellow. So I think it's really interesting because I think that it may be something that's similar to kind of like how we're made, because for me, when I look at yellow or I'm surrounded by yellow, I'm in my happy place. If I've been in a situation where I haven't been around certain things. But I could also see that if you were literally put in an all yellow room, like all yellow walls and everything's yellow, that it could seem a bit claustrophobic. It's why I love in your room how you have the ceiling painted yellow, because I think it's kind of like the sun, the light coming down, which I really like. So I think maybe the study was maybe done in maybe more of a negative slant versus looking at it from a positive angle.
Well, I do know that yellow is one of the more hated colors because it is overwhelming. I know it causes anxiety in people that have a lot of energy, so if you're already wound up, you don't need all that more energy. So like those that have anxiety don't really like orange and yellow. They like greens and blues and that kind of thing. And which makes sense. Right? So, and I talk about defense mode a lot in here. Defense mode is a state of mind where I was it's sort of like depression but more with anger.
Oh wow.
And so I was when I was around 13, having autism, I was very frustrated with the world. It felt like it was really unfair, and I lashed out a lot. And at that time, I really hated red and purple, which are very angry colors. And they would really overwhelm me with anger, and I already had so much anger, where now I love purple and red. And so
interesting. So like, you kind of transitioned. Like, what do you think changed for you?
I think that your state of mind and really affects how you see the world, and from color really affects me. And so like learning about color therapy, it made sense why I didn't like those colors, and it makes sense why there's certain colors I'm not as drawn to now. I don't feel like I have that hate that I had. Where like the only color I don't like is pink.
It's like I feel sorry for you because it's like I have a friend who loves Kitten who only wears pink, and and so it's like we probably should take it to her house.
That doesn't mean other people can't like it.
No,
it's just
exactly.
It just doesn't affect me in a very positive way to be surrounded by that. So I don't want to put a bunch of it in my life. But it makes me, I do have friends who love pink, and I get excited when they get excited about pink.
I think that's good too. I think it's easy in life with whatever our journey is to get kind of centered around ourselves and what affects us. And so I think for me, it's definitely been a positive thing seeing how getting excited for other people and what they're doing, and it's not just it's not all about what I like. It's like for me, I've said stuff like, yellow's the only color that exists in the world. And that's really just kind of like in a funny way, because for me, whenever I'm in a room, I will immediately be drawn towards anything that's yellow. Like I see the yellow butter over there. I see a yellow bag. I see, yellow accessories. I see a yellow top on top of that bottle. It's like, that's kind of like, that's how my mind and my eyes, I just focus. There's even a yellow bowl over there. But, it's like someone else will walk into the room and they'll see the pink watermelon, so it's like, I think that it's what we're attracted to, and it's not a bad thing. So I think that's good. And oh, by the way, I want to say hi to a couple of people on the feed, because we've got Maddie here. So Maddie, we did a live together. It's Maddie Morrison, and she was the one that did that yellow t-shirt. I don't know whether you saw that in my story.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, so she's saying she wanted to paint her room yellow, and I was told her about you, and I said you should do the ceiling yellow if her parents will let her. So we'll see. And then all yellow Josh there. Josh, he lives in the Philippines, and he's amazing. He's just graduated from college this year, and he wears all yellow as well. So that's really cool. And he's like, oh, I love yellow, I love your hair. So Josh wanted to know back here, he wanted to know how come you hate pink or don't like pink, should we say? Do you know why, or is it just something that just doesn't?
I I I could guess at why. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really bothers me is that it's the only color that I feel has put a gender on it that doesn't need to have a gender. Like, it's very much thought of as a female color, and it's a statement when a guy wears pink, and so I don't like that. And then it's also thought of as a sexual color, and I'm pretty asexual and not drawn to that at all.
Like, no,
I'm like no, I am asexual, so it doesn't make sense. So it just doesn't appeal to me. And the other color that I don't like is blue, because it just puts me to sleep, because it has absolutely no energy.
Yes, it's very calming.
I think it's a beautiful color, but I can't have it in my life.
Yeah.
Where I don't understand pink at all.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting that you say that. My stepdad is very much like that. I remember growing up, and he used to get very annoyed when he'd see a baby dressed in pink or a baby dressed in blue, because he was like, babies should be allowed to wear every color. And of course, when I told him, well, if I have babies, I'll be dressed in yellow, and he's like, no. I'm like, and I can't do pink or blue, so I should be able to do yellow. So it's funny, but I love what you were saying that about pink, because I think that so it's cool. So anyway, that's so funny. Maddie's saying her two favorite colors are blue and pink, which I think speaks to what we were talking about earlier. It's about being excited for other people and what makes them happy. So
my best friend, my adopted sister Alex, she loves yellow, and she pairs it with blue all the time, and she loves the beach, she loves water, so she looks like a beach. She's got yellow, blue, and tan, or like that's what she wears, and that's what her room always looks like. And so for her, blue's a very calming color, because she has PTSD and anxiety, and my mom loves blue because she has anxiety, but I just don't like it because I have fatigue. And so, like, I understand how color therapy is really important as well, to have the blue and the green and those kind of colors around them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I was just thinking to myself, you've got lovely blue tile in your kitchen, but it's like, I'm guessing you don't do too much cooking, because you're like fall asleep while you're cooking. Or it's a good excuse. You're like, sorry, I can't do the dishes. I'm just going to fall asleep at this sink.
I find I fall asleep a lot in this room.
It's a very calming room. That's true. Maybe we should get some yellow paint next time and just like paint a couple of the cabinets. What do you think?
So, I've been talking about moving out with my twin sister. Yeah. And so we were talking about, I was like, oh, how can I decorate like this and like that? She's like, I don't care how it looked, you can do whatever you want. I'm like, what?
That'd be so awesome. Well, let me know, because I will come help you for sure. We'll get the paintbrushes out. That would be so much fun. So cool. I love it. Oh, so much fun. Oh gosh. So what else we were gonna the thing that I'm just amazed with that book that you got, and I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. I'd have flipped to yellow immediately. I'd have been like, okay, what's the history of yellow? I have to know. Oh, hello. Yes, we're Team Yellow tonight here. So cool. And so we're still waiting to hear. So I'm gonna have to come back next time to find out what the history of yellow is from you. I'm guessing that turmeric is featured in that chapter, because that's kind of like I think one of the original yellow dyes. I'm trying to think who else might be the history of yellow. I think yellow was the first color. I'm just going to say, I'm going to write the history of color as we're sitting here. Yellow was the first color, and because the sun is yellow, and therefore it lit the earth with its yellow rays. And all was well with the world. The end.
I find one of my favorite facts about color is with color theory. The only the reason you see that color is that's the color that bounces off in the wavelength that bounces off into your eye. So that means whatever you're looking at, the only color it isn't is that color. Because it's absorbing all other colors. So when you're looking at something that's yellow, it's throwing the yellow off of it.
How interesting. That's so interesting. Wow. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do we have some comments? We do. What comments do we have? Oh, can we see them? I'm just seeing people joining.
Okay.
All right, what do we have?
Has anybody left comments?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, that's nice of them. Hi. Is that we could
I'll bring them up with my phone so you can
cool.
see them.
It's so funny. I loved how your puppy just came in and just a minute ago was like, he's like, I need some attention. Hi. So great.
And so Corey is watching. He's going to be on next week, and we're going to talk about, he's hosting the 10 Things I Hate About You event.
When you first said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do you hate about me? It's a cool title.
Yeah, he's on the spectrum. So he's hosting the reunion. So for those of you who don't know what that is,
tell us about it.
We're going to have we're going to show the film, and then there's going to be a cast and crew Q&A at the end. There's going to be a dance party and all this stuff, and it's raising money for OurTism. So if you buy different things at the event, some of that money goes to OurTism.
That's awesome. And then, by the way, I just want to throw my Instagram is over here. It's our.tism on Instagram. So it's a kind of a really cool play on the word autism. I really like it because it kind of, our kind of makes it kind of more community. All right, what have we got going on? We've got some comments on Facebook come in here.
So Noreen says, so colors have genders to you and also energy or low energy. So if you look into color therapy, it'll explain how different colors affect you, and they do have different energy levels. So yellow and orange are one of the highest levels, and then you'll have the bottom levels, which are green and blue, and then everything in between. So if you're looking for something that gives you more energy, you would wear something more bright, where if you needed calming energy, then you would wear or surround yourself with a color like blue.
And I think it's also interesting because I think Noreen as well, I think that the thing that with the pink is more that I think Chloe is more just saying that it's actually she would prefer there not to be such a gender put on colors. Like she would prefer that to be kind of it's not like it's not such a statement like when a guy wears a pink shirt, it's often like, oh, like real men wear pink kind of thing, which I think is a really cute marketing thing, and I think it's a cute thing to say. But I think it's just saying that, it's like, colors should be available to anyone and everyone, regardless of their gender, and how they are.
Yeah. So I've found these color therapy glasses. They have lenses in all different colors, and on that website they explain color therapy so well. And so depending on what color glasses you want to get, it'll explain how it'll help you in your life. So like orange will help you give you more social energy, where yellow is just like energy in general. Like it's just to go like more confidence. Where blues will help you calm down. So there's a lot of cool things. Black and white are healing. Black is for pain, white is for health. So, and then you can mix them. So like, pink is red and white. So you have the healing energy of white, and then you also have a little bit of the sexual energy and some fun energy from the red, which the red can be a little bit angry. So
soften it down a bit.
So if that is too much, then like the pink has a similar effect, but not as strong. It has more of the healing of the white. So like you can do different things like that and combine colors. And so like if you pay attention to the colors you wear, like each day what you're drawn to, you'll learn about yourself. And so like even if it's just one color, like you'll be like, oh, am I attracted to a really bright color today? Do I want to wear a paler color?
Yeah.
And if you look into that color therapy, it's really interesting. It'll tell you what you're feeling that day.
I think that's fascinating. You're so right though, because my wardrobe, I have everything from like a really pale yellow that's almost white, but not because it has to be yellow, all the way down to very golden, rich, kind of mustardy colors. And it's true, is like when I'm having a bit of a, like, I kind of just need to be a bit more insulated, like kind of like my introvert side is coming out a bit more, I'll gravitate more towards those deeper, darker colors. And sometimes even the lighter colors, because it's kind of a little blended in. And then when, today, need high energy, we're doing our chat, I'll wear my bright, crazy yellow, awesome yellow. That's true. I'm not a huge fan of the word crazy. I use it a lot, and I'm really trying to stop myself, because I find that crazy tends to be one of those words that people just use as like a throwaway word versus being intentional. So I'm trying to come up with like words like unique and fun and, just use those instead. All right, what other questions?
I found that I've been drawn to a lot of brown recently. I've been adding more brown to my wardrobe, and brown helps with spaciness. It really grounds you. So I'm doing a lot of yellow and brown, so it has energy and the grounding.
I like that. I should have more brown. Yeah.
And then in the winter, I feel like I wear more whites to help with health, because flu season and everything.
I know I have so many friends who have the flu or a cold right now. Robin loves the yellow. Thank you, Robin.
Is there a book you recommend to learn about color therapy? I don't have a book. Right now I'm reading this book on the history of color, The Secret Life of Color, which is really cool. It talks about all how color came to be and who wore it and all that kind of stuff, and you can infer from that how it affects you, but it doesn't straight out say. I'll repost the link to the glasses site, because I know it's interesting. They're selling lenses, but it tells you all about color therapy really simply.
I love that. I was thinking, I think one of the things that I found these days is that I often Google is my book, because it's like I want to get different perspectives on things, but sometimes it's nice to actually hold a book and figure out, what it is.
I think I posted a quick guide to a bunch of different colors on Facebook, where I wrote little snippets of what each color does.
That's cool.
Do you have a favorite artist like Van Gogh or someone who uses color? Strangely, when my son was 3, he got very upset. We figured out it was the painting behind the table. I was wondering if it was the color or the busy in the painting. Has the painting bothered you? So if he has autism, then it could be that he's sensory avoiding with sight. It could be his sight is overwhelming. For me, I'm sensory seeking when it comes to sight, and there's color and then there's light. So I love both. So I have fairy lights and all that kind of stuff, but there's people who are drawn to color but can't stand light. So it depends. With that, my sister's more sensory avoidant, so she likes more black, but color doesn't affect her as much as light. So it could be that it's causing a sensory overload to just look at that painting, or it could be that there's something with color therapy that is overwhelming him. So I'd pay attention to all the things that bother him, and if it seems to be that color is bothering him or light is bothering him, I'd recommend sunglasses. I know I have friends on the spectrum who wear sunglasses 24/7, and it's super helpful. At night, the yellow glasses are really great.
I agree. Yellow glasses.
They're really great. Because so you could get lighter frames that block out more light and or color, and yellow works a lot at night for those who who need to block out, like they still want to see.
Exactly, right. Because it's tough. And I find that at night I will, now the phones have the feature where you can make the screen more of a yellow, but I've been noticing for me, and I think a lot of people, I've been hearing so many people say that they find it hard to go to sleep at night. And I don't think it's just the way that our world is, where everything's fast paced and that, you know, we're on 24/7. I think that's a part of it, but I think a lot of it's that there's so much blue light that our eyes shouldn't be experiencing late at night, and so the melatonin isn't forming. But as far as favorite artist, Noreen, you totally hit the nail on the head, because Van Gogh is my favorite artist. For one simple reason, he painted the sunflowers. And, but no, I mean, his style is just so beautiful because it's very realistic, but it's also got that sense of awe, and you kind of see his view on the world versus it being a perfect representation of everything, but you can kind of see his take on the world, which I think is really beautiful.
Yeah, I love Van Gogh. His story is so interesting because he did suffer from depression, but he saw so much beauty. Like he painted. He didn't think sunflowers were beautiful. He painted them. Cool fun fact. He painted them because they all look so different, and it was a challenge to make it look like that individual sunflower, and there were a lot of them around. So he didn't always paint things that he liked, but he made them look beautiful. And he painted things that he responded to, and like that's always like to create an emotional response in someone looking at it. Like that's so awesome, because especially because so many at the time were just trying to paint exactly what they see. He was painting with emotion, and so his stuff is so cool for that reason. I think
I agree. And you know, I don't know. Okay, I'm totally probably going to tell most people probably won't know, but there's Doctor Who, which is the TV show, and they had. Did you watch the episode?
Yeah,
of Van
it's
Gogh?
such a beautiful episode.
I literally was crying, and I was like hoping beyond hope that they had saved Van Gogh at the end, and of course they hadn't. But then there was the for Amy on the sunflower vase, and I just loved how she was determined to get him to paint sunflowers. So I was wondering why that was, but now you tell me about the fact that he didn't, you know, he wasn't particularly attracted towards sunflowers. It makes sense. So, yeah. I would like to know of a color book. We should write a color book. We should do it. We should, and it doesn't have to be like a super long book. We could just write a book about color, and that would be our history of color. Yeah, you know, it's like the history of color according to Chloe and Ella. It would be so much fun. We could have a lot of fun with it. We could, you know, and there was, I just for giggles, I was playing around with the app that I use for all of my like videos, edit my videos, and it came out with this feature where I could change the hue of what I was wearing. Oh my God. So for April Fool's last year, I posted a video of me, and it was me wearing all pink. It was really funny, and it felt really weird too. I don't know whether you've had that experience where you're wearing like a different color, and I looked at myself in the video, and it just kind of didn't resonate as me.
When I was first doing the yellow all the time, I had to go to a funeral. And so I wore black, and I was just like,
it just didn't feel right.
It didn't. And I had to go straight from school, so I wore it to school, and everyone was like,
are you okay? Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that, because I remember when I was first starting to wear yellow, and I didn't have a full yellow wardrobe, so I was having to integrate other parts of my closet that I had at the time, and there was this long black dress that I had for a thing, a hand me down from someone, and I wore it to work with this yellow necklace, and everyone was like, "Are you okay? Like, is something wrong?" I'm like, you know, I'm okay. It was just so funny. It was kind of cracking me up. So it's like I was just laughing because it was you know, it's like people were seeing a different mood coming from me, because it was like I think that day I wasn't feeling particularly happy. I was in a bit of a like sad place, so I gravitated towards the black and realized it made me even sadder. So I didn't wear that again. So funny. I thought there was some at the top that we didn't get to. I can't remember.
The cons. I feel like when I am in my most harmonious color is turquoise or teal.
Oh, Maddie's room on Instagram is currently teal. Hi, Maddie.
That's I think that's a very common color for those to be attracted to, especially in the area I live, because it's a beachy color, and like water is so calming. Like, you know.
It's true, and it has a little bit of yellow in it because it's blue with a little bit of yellow. So it makes me happy.
And I found that people tend to wear colors based on where they live. Where like here in California, it's like tan and blue and
white.
You know, white. Yeah. Like you look like a beach.
Yeah, everyone looks like
and
a
then
beach.
when I was in New York, everyone wears black.
So true.
Like
we should go to New York and just walk down the street.
I thought it would be more colorful.
New York
like
Fashion Week.
Yeah, because it's super fashionable, and like they have seasons of all different things. I'm like, no, it's not. Everyone is like, where I went to college, like on campus, is very colorful. Yeah, because everyone's from all over and was expressing themselves a lot. But like in the city, everyone wears black. It's crazy. Once in a while, you see someone with color, you're like, yes,
come be my friend, be my friend. Yeah, it's very interesting that New York is like one of the capitals of fashion in the world, and you see the runways, and most of them have extraordinary combinations of color on them or color blocking, and then to actually go outside and you actually, it's funny looking in the audience. If you ever watch like show at New York Fashion Week, and it's literally like watching like an army almost, like just black, blah, 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 black, and then you suddenly get a celebrity or someone who like is like a designer, and they're like just decked out, and you're like, wow, yes, you're my people. I found my people. It's so great.
Yeah. So much black.
So much black. Need to do something. we could there's in San Francisco, one of the things that I loved was they had had the color factory up there. That was where I took some of my photos, and Hope Rosemary, who I was chatting with on the way down here, she was so I don't think she's probably on this because she's on the East Coast, but yeah, so we went to the color factory, and that was very interesting for me, going into different rooms and seeing my reaction to the different colors. And I remember being very disappointed when there was a room that I really liked the concept of, but there wasn't anything yellow in there. Like it just kind of was like there was this room where you could color on the walls with these giant pens, but the pens were green. So I did it, but it was like it just wasn't quite as fulfilling.
I have that feeling a bunch. I'm like, I really like it, but it's not yellow. Okay, I was watching one of those shows where they take flea market stuff and they make it all nice. So they'll like paint it, or they'll put fabric on it, and like there was this one group that did so much color, but none of it was yellow.
I think I know which group you mean. I remember going, I see that. Okay. Where's the yellow? So it's really funny, but yeah. So it's.
And I was like, I love all that furniture. If it came in yellow,
please come in yellow. I know. I've there's been so many things that I'm like, okay, can I dye it yellow? Can I paint it yellow? And I think that sometimes people think, because I think, the majority of people don't live their life around a color or a couple of colors, and so I think when they see that, there is that kind of like but I think that it's something that should be enjoyed and as part of our culture, because like you were saying, color is very important to you, but to your twin sister it's not so important. Like it doesn't affect her as was it color, I think you said. Yeah, color doesn't affect her as much, and so it's not something as powerful, and so there's a lot of people that aren't affected by color as much, but both of us are, and we embrace that and enjoy it and wear yellow. So yeah. Do we have
so you don't have I don't know how to say that. But there's this diagnosis where your senses get mixed up. So when you see color, instead of seeing it as, oh, that's yellow, you might smell it, or you might hear a sound. My twin sister doesn't quite have that, but the way she processes it in her head, she thinks in the five senses. And so she's not literally smelling something, like her brain doesn't go, oh, this color, this smell, and going, what is that smell? Like she doesn't do that. But it takes her a while. That's why she has even slower processing than me, because she's like, she'll even sometimes talk in the way she thinks. It's like, the ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what is that? And she has to translate that into words. And so that's the best way I can explain it. She's trying to explain it to me. I'm like, I'm trying to understand.
It's like, I'm trying to.
So, but there is a true diagnosis of your senses are mixed up. So when you see something, you actually are hearing a noise or smelling it or tasting it. So I don't have that.
No, it's like, although it does come to a point, like there are certain colors that I associate with like certain foods or certain objects that have a scent. So like for me, it's like there's so I think, like what I'm wearing right now kind of reminds me of a mango. Now I'm gonna start smelling mangoes. So like if I start thinking about it, like my mind will start thinking that, but it's it's not something that happens to me either. It's cool. But and then I'd love to share with you a little bit about my company that I just business that I just started. I keep saying company, but it's like just me. So it's like, but there will be other people that will join me. So I've been working in corporate America for many, many years, and my job ended in January, and I was like, okay, do I go after another job and like the security of being in corporate America with health benefits and all of that, or do I figure out what I want to do for my passion? Like this, I'm 35, it's like I have this opportunity to do this. Do I do it? And I just took the leap of faith, and I came up with the name for my company, which is Stories Around the Sun. And I really wanted it to be something that meant something to me, but it was also something that other people could embrace. Because like we've been talking about today, sometimes people can be turned off or put their impression on something that someone else does. And so I wanted people to really embrace the company name. So Stories Around the Sun to me relates to all of the ideas and stories that we see here on Earth. As the sun revolves around the Earth, we're always thinking and imagining different things, because I love all different stories. I'm not just like some people, which is great. Some people just specialize in editing one type of book, or designing and writing content for a website, or helping a podcast. Whereas I love it all. Like stories excite me no matter where they're being told, and books are my first love, but I really enjoy, like, say for instance on this, just listening to your story, and whether that's history or present day or future, like you wanting to go to Boston and experience Boston and visit family there. I think to me that's exciting. That's what gives me energy, is getting to listen to other people's stories and helping them tell their stories in a more effective way. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I have links to Stories Around the Sun in the description. So go check that out after the live stream. Like, don't click away now.
No. You can wait. It will still be there when you get back. And in my profile to Ella London, which is my Miss Sunshine Life, I have a link to it as well. And I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me, because it's a big leap of faith, but at the same time, I'm also loving it. And one of the things I'm working on right now is with a nonprofit. They are helping sex trafficked victims in Anaheim, actually. And they're on, there's a number of organizations helping with rescue and rehabilitation, but they're actually going to be helping with building their career skills, which is huge, and giving them employment. And that's a really huge part of that. So it's really exciting to be able to, one of the first projects working on as a new business owner is actually giving back to a nonprofit. So that's really exciting. And then Maddie says, "You're 35, you look 24. I'm like, I'll take that. I'm 24.
This last weekend, I went to tea actually with Corey.
Yeah.
And the waiter thought I was a kid and tried to, like, under 12 and tried to do, like, the whole kids meal thing. I was like, this has not happened in such a long time. And then we were trying to convince her that I was 22 because, like, there was champagne that came with the tea, and it was like, yeah, I'm 22, I can have alcohol.
Here's my, it's not a fake ID, it's not a fake ID.
She's like looking at the ID like.
She's like testing the card. It's got the hologram on it.
And then I'm with my twin sister. She's like, it's the same age. I'm like, we're twins. Like, no.
It's like you just accepted. You just got cards from different, the same person. That's really funny. No, it's like when I remember turning 19, and for some reason I was really excited about turning 19. I can't remember why. And it was back in the day when the movie theaters, like, you actually had to go up to the ticket desk. There wasn't like the thing, the little boxes outside to do anything. So, but and just buy online. I don't think that existed back then at all when I was 19. So that tells you I'm not 24. But I remember turning 19, and I was going to the movie theater. I was watching an R-rated movie, and the person thought I was the same as you. They thought that I was under 12, and I don't think I even had my ID on me because my parent, and I think part of it was that I was with my parents, and I was also wearing a pair of, what do you call them, dungarees? Is that what you call them here?
Oh, the overalls.
Overalls, that's it. I was wearing overalls, and I had my hair, I think, in pigtails, which really didn't help my cause, but I think the combination of the parents, the overalls, the pigtails, and apparently I was 12, so.
Yeah, so they card a whole group a lot when there's someone who looks young. So when I'm with a group and we're going to movies, I'm like, you need to bring your card to the movies. Like, why? Because we're going, there's a curfew for those under 18, and if we're going to rated R, then you need the ID. And my friends are like, I've never been carded at the movies. I'm like, well, you need to bring it or they won't let you in. And so I have to check, does everyone have their ID? Okay, you're not with us. You have to buy your tickets separately. So sorry, we'll see you in the theater.
It's great, but it's true. It's so interesting. And I think that kind of goes back to that, we're talking about color and the way that people see color. People look at people and see certain ages.
Mm-hmm. With bright colors, it does. People have assumed younger with that. And then I like my tights and my dresses, and that's a little bit kiddish to some people.
Sure. There's certain stereotypes. I think, a society is full of stereotypes, and and I think that one of the things I love about what you do with OurTism and with some of the other things that you talk about, and I have to say, I do love the title that you and Corey are speaking on, the 10 things I hate about you, because I think that that's kind of like, again, breaks the stereotypes, and it kind of comes from your perspective, and talking on that. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that. But I really love what you're doing, because it's kind of breaking that stereotype that I think a lot of people, when they hear words like autism or Asperger's, that they'll have a certain opinion in their head, even if they haven't met somebody who is on the spectrum. So I think that it's really cool what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of cool things coming up for the autism community that I get to be a part of. I'm gonna go do a panel in Washington, D.C. it looks like.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you.
I'm gonna find out more about that. I'll share that with you as soon as I have more
Please.
Information.
Yes.
There's
how are you obviously you've mentioned one of the reasons you wear yellow is because of the low energy. How are you as far as with what you're doing, this takes a lot of energy to be on stage, so how are you kind of handling that?
So I'm planning around that. So when I have these big events, I know I'm going to have a bunch of downtime, so I plan, like when I go to the Florida event, that the day before is a really mellow day, that maybe it's a pool day, maybe it's a day, not that I have to stay in bed or anything, but it's like I'm not going to go to Disneyland all day, or like, you know,
Yeah.
Disney World or Universal Studios. Like,
Mhm.
it'll be a day where like maybe I'll go on a nature walk or to the beach or to the pool or something that's more calming and more sensory friendly.
Mhm.
And then the day after, probably something similar, just so I don't get overwhelmed.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is planned into my schedule, that kind of stuff, so that I don't overwhelm myself
Yeah, because I
and
can
burn out.
imagine. Yeah, and I think that's good for all people in life. I think,
Yeah.
obviously there are people that have an enormous amount of energy, but I also think, like, for me, I go from high energy to low energy quite a lot. And I also have to realize, say, for instance, last night, because I was getting ready to launch my website, Stories Around the Sun, I was so excited and so pumped up, and I was making last minute changes, and I ended up not going to sleep till like 2, 3 a.m. or something like that. And I knew that I was going to be seeing you tonight, and tonight was very, very important to me. And so I spent most of the day resting because I knew that I was going to be coming here. And I think that we need to be more aware of our bodies. And I think that that's something that we can, kind of share with people regardless of, what we're dealing with in life, that we need to listen to our bodies and take the time to give it the space it needs to recover.
And with autism, there is a burnout that happens, the autistic burnout.
Oh.
So if you're doing so much repressing autistic tendencies and like pushing yourself to transition more than your body is ready, and trying to process a lot of information and just pushing yourself past the limits of what you should be doing, you'll experience autism burnout, where your functioning level drops.
Yeah.
And so you lose language, you lose communication, you lose emotional regulation, and you see the stereotypical and that can last a long time. There's meltdowns, shutdowns, zone outs, like so many things that can happen when you push yourself past that limit. And so I know, like, there's people for years who have repressed their autism and tried to mask and push through, and it catches up with you. So
don't do that.
It's important to take your mental health days. Like, I'm not saying don't mask. Like, there are situations where for your safety, mask. But if you know you're gonna have to spend a whole day masking, then you need to spend that next day chillaxing.
I love that. So mask and then chillax, which is actually kind of cool because, obviously usually masking, they're very popular these days, those masks that you put on your face. And that's not the type of masking we're talking about here.
So autism masking is trying to portray yourself as neurotypical, and that, I don't know if anyone's ever actually acted on stage. It takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
Imagine doing that for a full day.
It's like a 24/7.
So not only are you pretending to do things that aren't natural, you're also repressing things that make you mentally healthy. That so you're repressing stimming that regulates emotion and helps you process information and communicate. And so if you do that too much, you can see how that can be an unhealthy cycle. So if you know you're masking, then the next day you got to do some self-care, and that it doesn't have to be sleep.
Right.
It can be going on nature walks. It can be listening to music. It can be dancing. Like, it can be so many different things. Like, whatever makes you happy and content and fulfilled, that's what you need to do.
I love that. And that's so true, because what brings happiness and relaxation and self-care to one person can be completely different from someone else. Like, some people, the idea of sitting in a spa and getting a massage is like the furthest thing, from their mind of relaxation. And then other people, the idea of going, singing karaoke is really exciting. And then other people are just like, anxiety shoots through the roof. So it's really interesting. But so I see Noreen said here, here they call it
passing. And you pay for that. Repressing, very good point. Passing as neurotypical. or masking your autism.
And I think some people do, like even neurotypical will do that as well. And I think it's also extremely dangerous. You see somebody living in this kind of world where they feel like they have to be that way.
Mask depression. You can mask anxiety. You can there's so many different things you can mask or try to pass as neurotypical, and that you're okay, and that you're not depressed or saddened by something.
It's true. It's true.
It's all it's cool. Repressing your emotions is very unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. It's very true. Oh, it looks like Ryan's on here. Hi, Ryan. He's one of the producers for our the podcast that I do with Liproll.
Oh, cool.
He's a cool guy. He does all the sound and everything and research. It's really cool. Let's see here. Let's see here. We've got anything else going on? We've got a lot of people joining. Thank you so much. It's great to have you on here. Kathleen says she loves yellow. Yeah. So cool. Oops. There we go. And then Ariel says, my favorite color is yellow. I love you. Says, I'm from Brazil. I love you. Yay. Llama llama. Oh, I love llama llama. It's so cool. Llamas are fun little animals. I always wonder about a yellow llama. We should go find a yellow llama. Although I hear llamas sometimes spit when they're mad. So maybe we won't find too many llamas. I don't think they'll want to be that. And then Maddie said she went to sleep at 4 a.m. last night. Well, I hope you looked after yourself today then, like I did. And then saying, where do we live? We live in Southern California. We do. Yeah. But I wish I lived closer to you, because then we could see each other more. I want to find a day when we can go to the Yellow Vase, because the Yellow Vase is now in South Coast Plaza too. I don't know, they opened a location there. No. It's a little cute. It looks like it's indoors and it looks like really kind of cute. But I really want to go to this one that I drove past on my way here. It's got a yellow beetle bug outside, and it's really cool.
Oh, right where I work, there's a yellow vase there.
There's one right here.
With the car and everything. I have a photo shoot there.
I saw that. I was like, oh, I want to go. And so we'll have to make that happen. I just knew that today I needed to do some self-care so that I could be here for you tonight. So that's really cool. That's awesome. And yeah.
All right, so we're reaching the end of the hour.
We're getting the wrap-up signal.
So if anyone has any final questions, please leave them. We'll try to get to them.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. And someone's asking us, do we like yellow? Do we like yellow?
A little bit.
Just a little bit. I know it might. I know it's like we might. We love yellow. It's our energy color. It's our happy color. It makes us happy. Oh, someone's saying that you are my fave. Oh, we love being your fave. It makes me happy. Can you give me a shout out? Is it Isra? Let's say shout out to Isra. Hi.
Hi.
And then is it Bill or Jazzy? I can't tell. It's like these handles are so awesome. It's like people come up with such imaginative names. It's like, oh, my fave. It makes us happy. Yay. So cool. Anyone else? Noreen said, oh, thank you, and I will try the yellow glasses. Please do. Yeah. It really helps at night. I will. I've actually got a pair of yellow sunglasses that I will put on, like if I'm watching TV late at night. If it's a very bright movie, it would just kind of help to. And it's interesting how it helps to bring the energy down at night. The yellow color, which is very interesting when you're looking at it. Yeah. And
so the live is ending here.
Oh, it's ending.
It will automatically end in an hour.
Countdown on Instagram. Yeah. Oh, look, yellow is his favorite color.
I just for those that don't know,
yes,
I have a live stream. I'm talking Instagram.
Hi, Instagram.
On Facebook, where I talk every week, Wednesdays at 7 Pacific Standard Time. So this hour.
Yeah.
About autism. So if you go to OurTism on Facebook, OurT.
I'm gonna put it in the comments here. I'm gonna try OurTism on Facebook.
Yeah, check
out.
Check me out. I'm Chloe Estelle. And for those of you on Facebook, I'm here with Ella London, Miss Sunshine. So yay. I've tagged her in the description in her stories around the sun.
Yay! Is it talks or talk? Talks. Yeah. That would make sense. Otherwise, you could only do one of them. So there we go. Are you guys sisters? Oh, that's so nice. You could be sisters. Yay. We aren't sisters, but we are sisters in our love of yellow.
Yeah.
But yes, so it's been such a pleasure being on here, and it was so much fun. Thank you for letting me put you on my Instagram, because I had a few people say when I put the story on, said, "Can you do it on Instagram too?" So I was like yes. So thank you. And we've got 22 seconds remaining on there, and we have about the same on Facebook. Well, not it won't. Does it turn off on Facebook? We could literally talk all night.
Yeah.
You, although in the morning I think we'd both be like this, like, we'd wake up with a crick in our neck. Oh, 6, 5, 4, 3, goodbye.
Bye.
Stay colorful and yellow and sunshine. We had 55 viewers. Look at that.
Wow.
Very cool. That makes me happy.
Right, so check out the website OurTism.com. We have so many cool things coming up. So like OurTism on Facebook for all of that cool stuff coming up. We have a support group tomorrow for those on the spectrum. So please come to that. We have a bunch of new people that keep coming. It's so exciting. I love seeing new faces there. So please come to that if you can. We have sign up for Life Map. We have free consultations for that. Last week we did a whole stream about what that is, so go check that out if you haven't. We've done a live stream in the past, so go check that one out if you haven't seen that one, where we talk all about color and our stories, because there's so much about yellow in there.
That makes me happy. I need to do more of that. So cool.
I have my blog on the website where I talk about living on the spectrum. And yeah, come back next week. Corey will be on. We'll talk about the 10 Things I Hate About You event, movies, all that cool stuff. How he has met all these crazy celebrities.
It's so cool. I can't wait to hear about that.
So come back next week for that.
Very cool.
So if nobody has any questions, so we're gonna sign off.
We're gonna sign off. It's like but no, I just want to give another shout out to you, Chloe, because you are awesome, and it is amazing. It's wonderful. It's been quite some time since I've been on your show, and it's wonderful just seeing you grow and seeing what you're doing growing, and your passion is really showing and changing people's lives for the better. So keep doing it.
Thank you. Everyone check out Elle London. She likes to spread sunshine, and that's awesome.
Thank you. I do. Spread sunshine.
Everyone stay colorful.
Stay colorful.
Bye.
Bye.